Dear Dhamma friends, we are going to take time for the day's Dhamma talk. Everyone settle down for that and give the consent with 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato Samma sambuddhasse. Punnacha parang ananda bhikkhu amanasikaritva akātānaṁ chāyatana saññaṁ amanasikaritva viññānaṁ chāyatana saññaṁ ākiñcaññāyatana saññaṁ paticca manasikaroti ekattaṁ tīti. Dhamma friends, we have taken this Chula Sutta, the minor discourse on this voidness, as the main topic for this series, and we have gone so far rather into a subtle states of our perception, and it is like removing layer by layer of the gross area, leaving very subtle part, just like unpeeling a red onion. So outer layers are very gross, or unpeeling a trunk of banana is going to deeper and deeper in sense. So therefore, it says, right from the beginning up to the last drop, it's exactly the same thing. Gross thing is replaced by the subtle thing. So it's called Anupubba Sikha, Anupubba Kiriya, Anupubba Patipada. It's a gradual process. So therefore, 3 things important. To understand where is the state of mind, you have to verify it. Don't ask someone, don't find any other criterion, don't find any gadget to measure what is the state of mind. And knowing that you appreciate the path you came up to this state, that must be very clear for any person. It is not an accident. It is not by someone's merits. It's by your own merits or your path. Way up to this level, that means your mistakes. If you are believing your mistakes, what we are trial and error, you know how difficult for you to come up to that state. So therefore, understanding, appreciation and verification of the state, very, very important. Don't think second person will come and nominate or label or give a identification, then you are utterly in a mess. Only way for this verification is your path. So let it trot the path 1001 times. Each and every time, whenever you come to a certain state, you know, according to the background or history, this is the state. And hardly any name you can attribute. So whenever name attributed, then you get fixed, you get committed. But without attribution, without labeling, also difficult. That is why in such a sutta, the Buddha give layer after layer, everything is pertaining to the perception. That means something mind-made. Different layers, so it's a subject of Buddha. It is not our subject or not the subject of the commoners, but only we can do is just with respect, listen it, by heart it, put into practice and see whether it is working or not. Otherwise, there is no way for us to check whether the Buddha's knowledge is correct or wrong. Only by your experience you can do. And knowing that very state of consciousness or state of perception, you can see through, there's a still subtle layer behind. So you have to make up your mind, up to now, I managed to come and disappear somewhat like a norm. And if you see through it, it is leading, hinting, still another subtle layer behind. So you have to take care not to destroy what is the state you have achieved, but to see through it. So there it is not a hate, it's not the unwanted love. You have to have the middle way, see through what is the present state and look into the other and keep on be mindful, keep on be vigilant or diligent so that you can see through. That seeing through is what you call vipassana. So, due to your past experience, due to your past sharpness, to your past tactfulness, you have to find, you have to assimilate ways and means to penetrate it. Don't think even then what you are perceiving is the ultimate. That very thing you are going to achieve also should undergo same seen through nature, and yet another subtle layer. You can see it is layer by layer it is going. So therefore, talking about these things is quite unfair from the beginner's point of view. Beginner is nowhere, it is like Greek. They don't know. So therefore, all the time in your talk or in the discussion or in your presentation, you have to always give a fair understanding about the beginner's mind. And you yourself, even you come up to the very subtle layers, you have to understand everything will be demolished. Next day, your mind will be at the zero level. Don't expect that. Therefore, you must know when everything shattered off, scattered off, how to start like a beginner. So therefore, though you find ways and means to go into very subtle, don't recognize as me, don't recognize as mine, myself. You have to understand whenever the alignment is there, that is the possibility, that's the potential. But that possibility, you can't claim as mine, it's a human possibility, the humanity, so you are just a witness. Whenever the alignment go upset, you have to come back to zero level, and again you have to work alone, and when and where the variables get aligned, you can go sometimes further, you can go still further. So therefore, when the mind is not in the kama loka, that means the sensuous world, it is going into the deep by the rupa loka, that means taking an object of meditation. When and where you develop the familiarity with the object of meditation, that is to say, in breath and out breath, or rising and falling, or your left leg and the right leg, moment mind become familiar with your primary object, whatever the posture, that means you have done away with the sensuous world. So therefore, it is a reason for you to plunge into the, or adhere into, or take delight of that object. Not that intrinsically, object is delightful, but without take refuge of this object, you can't do away with the sensuality or sexuality. Whatever may be, once you take refuge with the primary object, you must not believe it as a hard and fast, and it is auspicious, it is permanent, or it is something garlanding my egotistic idea or conceit. That very thing is serving the purpose as a pivotal value just to get rid of the sensuous world. And when you go into this object, maybe the breath or whatever may be, then you must try to be very immediate with it. Associate longer time, then you see it is going to separate into pieces. It is agglomerated thing. Ultimately, pieces will be here and there, become liquidated. And then you have to see through it. When you are seen through, specifically from the materialistic point of view, whenever the Patavi Apo Tejo become disentangled, dismantled, in between you find the space. And more you observe closely, more you observe longer, you see what a distance observation, it appears like a concrete, hard and fast unit, solid. When you close, you become, when you longer you become, it's a mixture of everything, have and have not. So if you have prepared mind, or if you have kind of acquaintance with this kind of thing, you can go into it, whether you see for elements or whether you see space, all of this, the revelation, all of this manifestation is because of your proper approach, because of your practice. And if you're appreciating it more and more, the substantial part, the concrete part, solid part will dissolve, and you see the space or nothingness. Sometimes that appearance of the nothingness is almost like disappearance of the in-breath, disappearance of the out-breath, disappearance of the rising mode, disappearing of the falling mode, disappearing of the left leg, disappearing of the right leg, disappearance of the lifting mode, disappearance of the moving mode, disappearance of the dropping mode. All of them have the beginning, manifesting area and disappearance. Whenever you sharp enough to delimit your primary object and see the beginning, the middle and the end, the last only your mind becomes skillful to see the end through beginning and the middle. So when that happens, space is your main topic. And whenever it happens, when the disappearance become prominent, when the space become your subject matter, you can understand, even if you go into this disappearance, there are kind of a frustration, there's a kind of a doubt, there's a kind of a tension. Should there be any object for my mindfulness to stand? Or can my mindfulness still progress without an object? So these kind of things are happening. And whenever happening, if you, instead of continuous practice, if you are going to think, you completely get trapped. You will get washed off and taken for a ride. All your theory understanding will completely mislead you. So this is what I call trial and error. It's not a mistake. It is not a punishable mistake. That is the way our mind is working. So instruction is, don't worry about the rationalization. Apply again and again. Again and again. When you apply, you have to verify. You have to make sure the mindfulness is such a wonderful thing. So far it take the pivot of matter, object or sign. Now it is going to a sphere. Still it is continuing, but without substantial matter or concrete thing. And so how to promote it? How to facilitate it? So that is, we can't learn in the classrooms. Our parents are not teaching it. In the world, teachers, they don't know about that. So therefore you have to listen to the Buddha or Dhamma or Sangha. And even then, how much you must have the attentiveness. You must have the faith and your own background and your inquiring mind or risk-loving mind, changing from have to have not, but make sure mindfulness is intact. Moment you trod into, moment you step into that area, after a certain amount of mastery, after a certain amount of familiarization, you can say, not only mindfulness can stay in objectless area or space, when and where you appreciate, even the concentration can happen without an object. And when that happens, you are not belong to this world, because no one will believe there can be a kind of a concentration, a kind of a mindfulness without object, because you so far try to associate the object of meditation as your property, as your endowment. So when and where the object disappears, without challenging, have this rational, revolutionary mind, let mindfulness to sort it out. Don't worry. It can balance equilibrium without an object. Even you can be concentrated, one-pointed upon what? Upon nothing. And that is the kind of threshold entering into when and where you are bound to see the have and have not. And slightly you are inclining to the have not. That is the way you must promote. That's the way you must facilitate it. But it have not, or akasa is not the Nibbana. It's not the end of your suffering. That's not the end of your stress. That's not the end of your frustration. It's something alternative to your whole knowledge you learn in this your samsara. Your whole knowledge is based on have. Akkeya sanjino satta, akkeyasmin patittita, akkeyasmin apariññātaṁ māradeyantu macchuno. Everything so far we learned is already recognized thing, or cognized and recognized thing. So therefore our knowledge is limited to the articulated thing. So our knowledge never know unarticulate, never know unknown. It was a threat, it was fearful. So we was finding security within the already expressed ideas, already labeled ideas, already named ideas, already articulated ideas. We thought Nibbana is within. But the Buddha is giving a very radical interpretation. Even though you believe your liberation, your well-being and your everything is what you learn, there may be a dittha dhamma in this very life, two weaknesses. The truth may not be within what you learn. That's a one danger. Even though you love it, even though you claim it, even though your venerated teachers are taught it, even it is rational, even it is your pet idea, truth may not be lying in the known part. Instead, truth may be lying on the unknown. So therefore, to maintain that radical reflection, Buddhists are lost the game. They can't go beyond because they think the Nibbana is within the Buddhism. Never. Buddhism is the limit, make you egotistic, you conceited, you think Buddhism is my dowry or my property, non-Buddhists are non-believers, and like that your misleading can happen. So you have to understand the truth is not lying within what you know, not lying within what you like, not lying within what you heard, not lying within what is rational, not lying within your pet ideas, may or may not be, and why not be open? That is the way the Buddha is opening your mind, that means open-mindedness. So very, very radical, and that is not relevant to the people in the sensuous world. They can't understand what this type. So whenever you are in this kind of a real practitioner, real follower of the Buddha, don't get much entangled with the sensuous beings. They are in a different world. They are always pulling you down. They say you are mad. They say you are going to something irrational. And when everyone says you are mad, of course you can get mad. That is the word. That's the advertisement of working. When something is repeatedly expressed, you ultimately become a believer of it. So when you are associating these worldly beings, worldly knowledge, kind of thing, you have to understand it as its own limitation. If at all, if happen to do it, that is your bad karma. That you have not done enough merit in the last life, that is, it is pulled back into your this breakfast fork. Eating, that's what you call breakfast fork. But instead you go there, you learn, have as have not, and still you can see, even at that very critical junction, mindfulness never leaves your side. It's so credible. Even in this such uncertainty, if you know the real word meaning of the concentration, it never leaves your side. It's so credible. But if you are believing a kind of a mindfulness, it always should have an object. If you are believing a kind of a concentration, which always should have an object, that you get lost. That's the end of the Samatha Bhavana. Beyond that, you get the help of the Samatha Bhavana and ready to go into the unknown. Ready to jump into the other side. That's the first hurdle is akasananjayatana. You are ready to see the disappearance of the object. You are ready to see the space between particles. Heat bubble, cold bubbles, stiffness, tension, movements, everything is completely, exclusively separate from others. For example, whenever liking happens, the next liking or unliking is completely cut off, exclusively different from one unit. So you have to understand that liking has to completely disappear, and then only another liking or disliking can happen. Wait and thin slice your time and see the exclusive difference, then only you can see the gap, the space, and that's a dangerous thing for eternalism. If you have any kind of a eternalistic idea, it appears like a landmine. It appears like a dangerous thing, so you feel threatened. You feel cold sweat. You feel nauseatic. You feel waving of the body and a lot of things. So you have to go through it once you are mastering, of course, with time, with maturity, with prepared mind. It is a possible thing. Not in this dispensation, even as the Buddha to be, Siddhartha Gautama went to the Alara Kalama, he taught him. This is the Akasananjaya. He managed to do it. It is not Buddhism. It is kind of a deep layers of the consciousness, specifically the perception. But if you have to go prepared. So if you need further or yet another alternative way, please read the Pottapada Sutta, that is in Dika Nikaya, in the first 10 suttas, the Pottapada Sutta. The Buddha explained how layer after layer the perception is getting deeper. So if I am to take a few minutes about some introduction about the content of the Pottapada Sutta, one day the Buddha paid a visit to the monastery of the Pottapada. He is not a Buddhist, but they are having very good in terms. So when you go there, the Pottapada was shouting and talking with the people, and soon see the Buddha coming, he calmed down the people and offered a respectable seat. And then the Buddha asked, what were the topic you were talking? I mean, I come and what was the disturb due to my arrival? He says, leave aside Bhante, that I can do anytime. But I have one question for you. Then the Buddha says, okay, I have enough time for the arms rounds. Why don't you ask? Since is last time when we had the gathering of the senior Brahmins, I also was there, and they discuss Abhisanya Nirodha. One person asked, what is the Abhisanya Nirodha? Then that was a long discussion, and there was no conclusion. And some people told, Sanya, Abhisanya, the key term is Sanya, that's a perception. Perception is happening without any due cause, ahetu apache. It is this impromptu. So therefore, you can't develop theories. That's one part. The other part told, no, that is my soul. My perception is my soul. So therefore, there should have theory. It is existing. It is substantial. And the third party mentioned, no, you can insert different thoughts, different perception like in telepathy into your mind by a well-meditated monks or developed people can twist your mind. That means brainwashing. That's also possible. Therefore, there is a theory. There are some people who they have their terms and conditions, they can twist. The fourth party told, no, it is not human. They are devas and brahmas, very powerful, omnipotent, omnipresent. They are the people put different perception into you. Accordingly, you become puppet of their agenda. And I was thinking, Bhante, behind in the group, I told, if at all you were you there, what would have been the conclusion? But unlucky enough, you was not there. And we concluded our discussion thing, leaving these four ideas. No one decides. Then the Buddha says, if someone is telling that there is no reason, it is completely impromptu, they are the kind of people get lost in this discussion right from the beginning. So therefore, nothing in this world without a cause and effect. So the perception also cause and effect. And I don't believe that as the soul. It is not Buddha directly telling it. I don't believe that your perception can be manipulated by senior meditators or magicians, or that can be manipulated by the omnipotent God or Brahma. But I am telling, Sikha eka sanya uppajjante, Sikha eka sanya niruddhanti. If you know the repetitive application or restraining or practicing, then you can remove one sanya by one sanya, then you can see the profile, how nicely they are packed. And if you, whenever you stop your practice, that's the point you think the standard or the norm. So you believe it, and you came to that level with your effort, therefore it's a very great state. But soon you stop it, you believe the state where you are. But if you keep on practicing, you find it's just a trivial state. It's still there, deep down, more subtle states are there. You keep on going, and there also Buddha very nicely explain different sanya. And he says, when and where you go to the first jhana, it is vivekajam pīritukam sukama satcha sanya. When we go to the second jhana, samajitam pīrisukam sukama satcha sanya. One by one it is nothing but a sanya. Oh, it's a mind game. One jhana to other jhana. So, some people are very happy when the jhana is becoming the topic. So they can bring something home telling that at least I earned first jhana, or I earned second jhana, like that. That's the way it's going. But anyway, jhana or jhanic absorptions are such a perception. How you can compare it to the person, or how you can compare to your last jhana and the next jhana, they all depend on your labeling or your perception. So it's a matter of repetitive application or mastering, and you can understand there is a stratification, but it is not so easy like earning jhana, the verification. So ultimately, jhanic practices are going to the upekha at the fourth jhana, and there he keep on practicing the space. That means your breath ceases to exist. Ceases to exist means ceases to exist in your perception, not you are dead. Not the breath stops. You can't perceive. And at that level you feel like everything happens, very smooth gliding, no breathing. So therefore, that is the way the Samatha teachers are explained in the fourth jhana. And still you can go there. The space is finite. You are gliding in a space, infinite space. So instead of the path, you can direct the attention to the infinite space. Then at jhanic level, from Rupa jhana, it can go into the Arupa jhana. And where you can understand, now Vijnana, as we discussed yesterday and day before, Vijnana is making the mindfulness with object and without object. See the concentration with object and without object. And over there, you can see there is a liking and disliking. Person who is happy with the object, they hate mindfulness without object. They think it is a mishap. They think it is something irrational. And though on the other side, the person appreciate mindfulness and the concentration without object, they say, the people believing mindfulness and the concentration with object is lower class. They are Montessori, we are upper class. They are foolish. We are the real one kind. There is a kind of a sectarianism. That sectarianism is much, much, much subtler than the infinite space. That is what you call the function of the consciousness, divide and rule, it makes two different things and fighting each other. So one has to go in meditation and have to prepare one's meditation, not only the materiality, that's a have and have not, the feeling about liking and disliking also must be aware. Whenever the state of mind, maybe without any object, you are in the infinite space and no breath or no rising and falling, or even sometimes you feel you are doing walking meditation, you don't know the left and the right, but you know you are in the walking. And when that happens, if you are a type of a person happy with the materiality or have, which is the not have, you tend to take force breathing, you tend to touch and see whether materiality is living, still there, or when you are walking also you try to pursue some material, concrete substance. But the person, those who are believing and prepared and be aware of the nothingness, even then the mindfulness is there, they can understand after a while again the matter will come, wait till. And once come, you can understand now you have sounds, now you have pain, now you have thoughts, and that indicate just before that I was have nothing. So therefore don't worry to create matter or expect matter, just wait at the end of this nothingness, definitely end up with something. So he tried to understand, compare to the thing, nothing. And when that happens, you can understand how the trick of the mind. And that is quite a challenging part in the meditation, because now you are changing your sphere from the matter to the other areas, feelings, perception, volitional activities, and consciousness were divided, have and have not. So they are not so solid, they are not so concrete. So you have to go prepared. At a time you may see likings and disliking. At a time you see when there is matter, you can recognize. When there is no matter, space, there are no signs. Not recognizable, but it is maybe better than the have recognition or cognition. For that, it never happened through meditation. You must have listen. You must get the instructions. You must be very subtle, prepared for that kind of a state. So these are the very rare combinations in the meditation that can happen in day-to-day affairs. When you are in a day-to-day activity, it may not be in the sitting meditation, may not be in the walking, but in a discussion sometimes you get the gist. That may be the one. Or in a discourse, or when you are rationalizing can happen. So therefore it's not necessarily that kind of enlightenment. The quick enlightenment limited your sitting, limited your walking. It can happen anytime. Once happen, you are fully energized. What happen when you are full of mental determination to go forward, because this appears like an endowment or a gift. But you can't predict it. It's always electric. So when and where you mind become ready, mind become mature to see the space, and then you expect, you go prepared, there may be have and have no fight. And the day you understand this liking and disliking, this is the starting point of the defilement. Up to that level, you are innocent and no committed. And when and where liking and disliking happens, it's very gross. It is happening not due to the God, omnipotent, omnipresent, not due to the very powerful people meditating and imposing onto yourself, or not happening due to the no cause. It is not coming all of the blues, and it is not your soul. You can't control. It happens. Only you have the observer's capacity. When and where liking and disliking happens, moment liking and disliking happen, you get committed. That is what you call volitional activity, will, or determination, or expectation. When and where there is no liking and disliking or not manifested, your commitment was not there. So you understand, going into this understanding of the magic of the mind, let the mind to play magics. Let the mind to come out with likings and disliking. Don't worry. Don't try to suppress it. But as soon as the liking and disliking happens, if you can be aware, catch hold into that, you find more it delayed, more you become a slave, succumb. If as soon as you can catch the liking and disliking, so much so situation under control. So you are learning the magic of the mind, when and where mind is committing, liking and disliking, and don't manipulate, don't regiment yourself, let it happen. So when and where you happen, you have a kind of attitude to the matter or immaterial or have and have not, whatever it may be, no discrimination, choiceless awareness, evenly suspended attention, not deciding, suspended decision, and just see how the just like bubbling or mushrooms happens, this likings and disliking happens, how the desire happens, how the conceit happens, how the egocentric storytelling happens, and you have no any wish or will, they are happening. If you do not know, you worry. You think it is unwanted thing happen, that is my mind is untrained, therefore I must suffer, lost. But if you carefully understand, it is not your baby, it is not you, it is not yours, it is not your soul. And if you do not see, you suffer. That's why the Buddha says, Janato bhikkhave passato asavanam khayang vadami. You see it's come out of blue like, because you see late. If you see the beginning, you see when the causes are there, effects happen. When the causes ceases to exist, it disappears. But if you do not see, you attribute it to either person outside you or yourself. Moment you attribute it, of course that is the commitment, then onward you are suffering. Stress is a must. Tension is a must. Frustration is a must. And you become storytelling. You get entangled. So 1001 time when you are prepare the stage and let the drama going on and observation, so it is not a wastage of time. That's a real usage of the time. That's what you call you are tit to tat with the time. That's a thin slicing of time. Just wait. Let the liking happen, let the dislike happen, let the frustration happen, let the tension happen. You never carried away by them, but consider them as raw material for your experiment. And it is not a planned thing, but if you did not see, you succumb. If you see, if you manage to see, you see, when and where you see, you disclaim. When and where you see, enough room for to disavow. Otherwise, you claim that you are claiming a suffering. You are claiming a frustration, claiming attention. So the Buddha, he says, I can tell you, if you do vipassana, you can make them null and void, but you have to be right at the beginning. Whenever it is happening, have this formula, disavow, disclaim, this is not me, this is not myself, this is not me. And then no one is challenging you. Your foolishness is the one only challenging you. Is it okay that just to disclaim by, can I erase off these karmic forces? Can I disavow them? Can I do away with? That the Buddha says, do it and see. When that happens, when that skillfulness happens, not that you are free of the distractions. Sometimes pains are happening, thoughts are happening, primary object is happening, secondary objects are happening, under space happening. You try to behave like a person you have not seen them. Behave like you have not heard. Behave you are not aware of them. Let them come and they disappear. Why should you get a cut across and going to make a decision? Moment you collapse it, then you get committed. Let the passing show to go. That is what you call the flux. That's what you call the Sunnatha. It is been expressed as an epithet. You are sitting near a river. River is flowing. You are in a dry place. Just observe how many things that water is carrying. Sometimes good things, sometimes bad things. So they are going. Don't fork your fingers. Don't interfere it. Moment you fork your finger, your hand get wet. The river get disturbed. If you put your leg, your leg will get wet. The river will disturb. It's a one-to-one relationship. And even the river carries bad thing or good thing, just observing won't make you defiled or highly irritated. So this is the point where you understand the nothingness. Of course, it is something like akasa, but it is nathikinchi. There is no substantial thing. They are passing show. So you learn the art, people will come and tell you so much of stories. They will try to emphasize it. That is up to their ignorance. That's up to their conceit. That is up to their egotistic idea. Up to their liking and dislike, you yield a deaf ear. Not that you are not listening. You are carefully listening. No, it's just bullshit. Utter bullshit. So when you are learning this art, people will come and tell you, you are such a callous person, whatever the thing I am going to tell, you are not listening. You must listen. That is our fellow beings are coming and telling you must be frustrated, you must be tense, you must be stressed. That is what you call the brotherhood. That's what you call the society. You know, whatever the people are telling, you have to maintain your balance of the mind. Then only you can be a balanced person. All the rest of the world, they are sharing their tension and kind of thing. Of course, you can share, no problem. But the Buddha gave us nathikinchi or akinchana. These things are only important only for this moment. Think that the same thing tomorrow, no use. 3 days time, think about the serious tension you underwent. It is just a joke. It's a matter of just letting go. Then only you learn things are there. That means you have eyes. Visual objects are there. But we have a chance to behave like a blind person. Whenever we are behaving like a blind person, everything is gone forever. The example I would like to cite in this place is, there was one monk meditating. He is traveling in the bus. And in Sri Lanka we have a lot of private buses, and just here the driver, the seat for the monk is here. So he was almost like the driver, and he's looking through the windscreen, and all of a sudden bus went and killed a person, a pedestrian. The whole journey stopped, and then all of a sudden police came, and the police wanted to take the evidence on the spot, and the police knows the driver is biased. He won't give the really happened. He says, it was not a yellow strip and I horned, but even then the person jumped. But the family members of the person wanted to get the driver and kill him on the spot. That's the way they are. So therefore police is going to the monk and says, Bhante, you are a person not biased to this side or that. What is your... He says, at that time I was with my closed eyes. Finished. Everything finished. Police can't say, no, when you are traveling, you must be open-eyed and that you must give a news. And I'm sorry, at that I was closed-eyed. So how much you must be tricky, how much you must be wise just to behave like a blind person. So this is what the Buddha means. Don't think Buddha has a different formulas. He's having the magic, nothing. So at that level, these are just perception. It's the way you perceive the world. This is not the reality. This is just less than a shadow. And how much you are making worries out of that. And how much you are committing for these kind of things. So therefore, when and where you are entangled in household life, social life, don't try to be like a blind person. You will be killed. Don't be fool like that. There you have to understand you are committed. You can't escape because you are in the household affairs or social affairs. Don't go into that. That must be your restraint. But if you happen to be there, now you can't wash and clean. You are already committed. Not that you can use this whenever the mind is concentrated in the primary object. There also you are not in the household life or the social life, but you are in the Rupa Loka. That also appears something like substantial, but safer than the sensuous world. When the matter become, the object become subtle, bubbles, and going into pieces like, now you have to start the game. Even you see, even if it appears like a yakka, even if it appears like a deva, even if it appears like a Buddha, even if it appears like a devadatta, all are just perception. Why worry? Why should we make stories? Why should we doubt upon them? They are just passing show. If you know it's a passing show, you are fresh enough to the next arising thought moment. If you are carried away by this with the love, desire, or hatred, dislike, then you are not fresh to the next moment. Your next moment is killed. It is filthy. It is defiled. So, the next moment is naturally open thing for any person, but we have the backlog of the karmic forces or defilement of the last minute. That is what we call doubts. That's what we call the fear. That's what we call uncertainty. And we think that uncertainty, fear and doubt is for our well-being or for our development. Never. They are the killers. So you must know how to do away with. Do away means be prepared for the next moment. Be prepared for the next moment. So when and where such a impinging, inflicting thing happen, just consider it as not seen, not heard, not concerned, and dead. I am dead to it. And then you can be prepared for the next moment. So that is how when and where you not giving attention to the akasa ananchanda free. Whenever you are going to give, any matter happen, you hate it. Because you love space. When the space happen, if the sound happens, you say that bloody sound is the one disturb my mindfulness, that bloody sound is the one disturb my concentration, I have to kill that person, or you want to put earplugs and discipline other people. So much of things. But to understand, you have a desire for the silence. That is why the sound becomes a distraction. Or pain happen. You have a desire for the comfort or pleasure principle, then you hate pain. When you have thoughts, you think mind can be completely free of thoughts. That's why some people think as the Nibbana. And therefore, whenever thought happens, you hate thoughts. So you have to understand, these things are just, at that moment, they are just perceptions. Whenever they are not there, you call it a space. So space is threatened by sound, thoughts, pain, primary object, secondary object. So therefore, akasa ananchayatana is a partial aspect of your truth. And there should have some kind of a relative, comparative substance. With comparative to substance only you can see akasa. And therefore, akasa cannot exist without substance. Substance cannot exist without the akasa. So they are interdependent. They are relative to each other, reciprocal each other. Don't make stories out of that. They are happening completely according to cause and effect relationship. It is none of your business. They happen, there is a universal law. Just observe it. And sometimes when you are passing akasa and chayatana, you are going to see the game of the vijnana, selecting this as liking and rejecting this as dislike. You see that vijnana, while functioning only, you can understand it. Not without vijnana. So therefore you can't hate it. You have to let it play under the governed condition, control condition. You are not broken with your social norms. You are with precepts. You are not transgressed anything, so you maintain it. There are action, but nothing you do willfully. So these are the guardians. You have to make sure you do nothing willfully or volitionally. Things are happening. So that means you are disciplined, you have the faith, you have the mindfulness. Let the vijnana to be sectarian. This is good, this is bad. And when it is happening, if you claim vijnana is myself, that particular person will say perception is myself. That is the way you make stories. You get into the wrong views. So then you see that you are fully succumbed to any wrong view. So let that manipulation happen or manifestation happen and to disclaim it. And once you learn this art, things are there, they are not impinging. They are not smearing. They are not make you filthy. They are not defiling you, they are there. Just like a drop of water on the petal of a lotus. The water is on the petal but not smeared. When it is turned, drop will fall. Likewise, any bad things or any bad unwanted things or very desirable thing will be appear like very closely associating like you, but you are not claiming them. You are not, you disclaim them, disavow them, and being proximate won't be not necessarily a defilement. That's the way you live within the completely spoiled world, completely defiled world, but not smearing. That is that the Buddha, just before his enlightenment, previous night he saw a dream. He is climbing a mountain of excreta, but he is not get smeared. He is climbing a shit, not the bullshit, whatever there may be shit. He is climbing, he see, but not smeared. Not that he get the shovel and the bulldozer to get rid of them, telling, I am a Buddha, there cannot be any kind of a defilement close by. No, he says there is a defilement or defiling thing. Agent is there. I am very proximate, but not smeared. So that is the license, or that's a kind of art. The Vipassana yogis always using for the motto, main thing is not to worry. Main thing is not to worry. Let them happen. It is happening not due to your will, not happening not due to your volition, not due to your determination. But they are happening. There is a art. There is a universal law. There is a theme. But just observing. So there is a kind of a state where things are there, good and the bad, discriminating thoughts, space, have not. But you find the least frictional path to move without getting bumped, without getting hit, without getting agitated. So when that happens, easily you may understand you get into Nibbana. Because things are there, not smearing, not defiling. It's also something achieved. That is what Alara Kalama suggested to the Buddha to be. Now you came to the Akinchanyayatana. You are the best person I see, mastered it within 2 weeks. Why don't you stay with me and share the class? And you can get 250, I can get 250. I give the status like a demonstrator as a temporary lecturer. Wait, because he was the batch top. He says, darling, thank you very much. I feel still I am within this existence. Say bye-bye, he left. But nowadays, if it is going to happen, you can sell that in the supermarket without any friction, highest demand, because people meditate for healing, for therapy. Mindfulness, every meditation is for therapy because they wanted to get rid of this tension and frustration. And if can happen, they will pay anything. That's the way you make Buddhism a commodity or commercialized. That's called business Buddhism. But it indicates even if it is temporary free, even if it is not come and smearing you, you have not achieved it. You find the possibility. You find the potential. And with that potential, there are some layers still you have to go. That is for the galvanizing effect or reinforcement of the thing. So that part is what the Buddha's discovery or presentation to the human. Otherwise, these all states, Akasananchayatana, Akinchanyayatana, was already discreetly understood. They have achieved it, Buddha witnessed it, or Buddha to be, and therefore it is there. And not that it is a trivial thing, it's good, but not the end of the game. So you have to definitely, through the, many people say you have to go through the Samatha Arupa Jhana, but even the Buddha says Arupa Jhana is not much not a must for your enlightenment, but you must understand these layers of perception. It is already in your consciousness. It is an endowment as a human being. Only thing is discrete, discriminated understanding. This is what you call, and it's one before, this one after. That very understanding, don't expect you can do by guesswork. Whenever you go there, do it in 1001 times. 1001 times. If you can't do, it is because of your past karma. You are a slave. You are working to someone's agenda. If you have time, or if you have the opportunity, what you have to do is, let it happen again and again. That's what you call mastery. That's what you call reinforcement, and giving the kind of a protection. And when you are doing that kind of a mastering, you are not dealing with your mind, you are dealing with the human mind. Your endeavorance is for the whole humanity. So therefore one person told, the whole world can get together and make the world global warming. The whole world get together and they can make the ozone layer problems. They can make mental defilement and the environmental development. But the person who develop these layers of the consciousness or perception, they can completely redo all the bad things humans are doing. Because their power is so much. They have gone through every layer. So therefore don't think that meditating cross-legged is a selfish thing. Because you are getting into the human mind, so you can understand why other people also making such a statement, doing such a thing, talking like that. Because they don't believe they are potential. They are enlightened already. They don't know. They think that we are low-caste people, we have that problem, this problem. They are always akusala samadhana. All the mistakes, they are repetitively talking. And, how to call it? Believe them. And appreciate them. So no chance for them to see kusala samadhana. So the way the sutta is telling, Sunnatha vakkanti, you enter into the emptiness with respect to the friction, going to the least friction, gain least friction, and then you are always talking about the positive side, only the love spots. And then you find a path. And that path not relevant to other person, because you're so unique. But the Buddha is such a broad-minded. He laid down the basic formula, but each and every step, you have to enliven, you have to make it very lively. While practicing, you are doing such a vast social work. So therefore, don't worry thinking that you have not attended to the household life, you have not attended to the monastic life, you are not attended to your body. Without these things, this fine-tuning cannot happen. So when the fine-tuning happens, you have to understand all these things they are being attended. So you are the only person, they can pull you back, that's okay. But you are the only person can take the helm and lead it. So therefore, under such circumstances, you must have kind of a boldness, kind of arrogance, or kind of a willpower. Of course, we are talking about the willpower, but there is a kind of a adamantation, and it is naturally coming when the development of the meditation is happening. So therefore, be alert. And when and where likings and disliking happen, don't try to push it away. See the mechanism. You are the person to observe it. More you observe, answer, the way out is there. There's no special formula to answer it. Seeing is the answer. Seeing is believing. With that remark, I would like to sum up today's talk. Thank you very much for attentive listening.